All right, so it says that we are live. I just want to welcome everybody to the ScrappyDew live show. I'm Rob from ScrappyDew, of course, and I'm joined here by three other people that you see down here in what we call the little film strip. And we're just going to let them introduce themselves. So I'm going to start with Christopher Allen Designs. Go ahead and say hi to everyone. Let everyone know who you are and where people can find you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher Allen with Christopher Allen Designs, and you can actually find me on YouTube. I will put my link and information below. I have not put that in there yet. I apologize. And also at ChristopherADesigns.com, which will link you right back to my blog spot, but all of my information that you need is there.
Yeah, he just got his brand new website up, so yeah, go ahead and check that out. He's going to go ahead and put that down there so you guys can check it out. Next is Ken from Ken Kreations. Go ahead, Ken.
Hey everyone, my name is Ken. I'm with Ken's Kreations, and congratulations, Christopher, on getting your blog up. I'm very proud of you. It's been a long time coming. And you can find me over at www.creativeken.blogspot.com.
All right, and last is Michelle over here. She's been with ScrappyDew for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years, right, Michelle?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, it feels like that, right, with all the
No.
work you do. But she's audio only. I'm going to let her introduce herself as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. I'm design team leader for ScrappyDew, and I also have a blog at michellemybellcreations.com.
All right. Well, if you're new to the show, welcome. I'm going to show you a quick little demo on how you guys can get involved because we can bring up comments that you guys are saying, like Kathy over here, she says, I don't care what you call it, can't wait for it, So we can always bring up some comments here, and how do you comment? So let me show you that here real quick. Okay. Let me pull up my screen share, and we'll start sharing. All right. So if you take a look right here, on whatever you're looking at, either that be YouTube, whether that be on the Google event page, you'll notice this little thing down here called Say Something. Okay, so you can go down there and you can start typing. Okay, start typing, and you just hit the share button, and we're able to pull it up. Okay, that way we can bring in your comments, we can interact with you as as an attendant of our live show. Okay, so something to keep in mind is that whenever you see something on the screen or whatever we're talking about, there's usually about a 30 to 60-second delay between what we are talking about and what you guys are actually seeing. So if we happen to move on to a new topic, please feel free to still post your question. We'll come right back to it, and we'll post it up here on the screen and let everyone take a look at it. Okay. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. I do want to throw some more photos out at you. Today's Thursday. We're going to do a little throwback Thursday. Got a little so I got some baby photos of all of us, okay? And it's going to be a little contest. See if you guys can guess who is what baby, okay? So let me pull up the baby photos, and we'll see if you guys can guess. All right, so we'll start up here with A. All right, so here's photo A. Let me pull it up over here. Make sure that you guys can see it. There you go. Now you guys can see it. So here's photo A. Take a good hard look. Here's photo B. All right, there's photo B. Here's photo C. And last is photo D. So one of these babies is one of us. See if you get it right. I'm going to go ahead and post these photos in the on the event page so you guys can take a look at it in the actual comment chat. So that way you don't have to hit the pause button. We can continue on with what we're going to be talking about. So cool little contest. See what baby is what. And we'll see who's right. Okay. So we're going to be talking about Cricut, the Cricut Explorer, and both Ken and Chris came out with new videos this week on talking about the new print then cut. A lot of us are always used to hearing print and cut. So Ken, why the name change on print then cut? I noticed you were mentioning it in your videos.
Yeah, it's funny because I had to actually stop my video quite often because I kept saying print and cut, and there was confusion that print and cut is referring to a machine that does both. So it's a machine that prints it and cuts it. So the Imagine, for those who are familiar, was a print and cut. So a machine that would actually print the item and then come back around and cut it. And when we posted all of our videos, there was some confusion right out of the gate about the Explorer. The Explorer is a print then cut, meaning that you're going to print this your item on your home printer, and then you're going to be feeding it into the Explorer. The Explorer is going to read the registration marks and then cut it. So it's going to be a print then cut. It's a two separate process. The machine isn't actually printing the item, whereas then the Cricut Imagine was a printer, and built into it, it actually had the capability of doing printing and cutting. So.
All right. Now, Christopher, in your video, I saw that Cricut has some new products, you know, so what are these new products that you were talking about in there?
They do. You're going to have to let me know that you can hear me, because it kind of looks a little bit lagging on my end, and I'm not sure if you can actually hear me or see me.
Oh, yeah, we can both hear and see.
Oh, perfect. Okay, well, I'm going to grab my materials real quick. The first new material that is coming for the Cricut Explore is actually the printable vinyl. Here it is right here. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it does come in a package of 10 sheets. It's 8.5 by 11, and then with the printable vinyl, I was able to create this iPad cover, which is the one that I showed in quite a few different places. It is the iPad cover that has the flowered skull on it, and the Cricut Explore actually printed and cut these very delicate pieces, and I transferred it over to my iPad. And then we also have my favorite of the two materials, which is the sticker paper, and I'm just trying to figure out how many sheets. 12 sheets in this one, and it is the paper is obviously, you're able to print on this paper, and it is a full sticker sheet. The sticker is a very, very, very thick sticker. It's very, you know, nice and hardy for using on different projects. It's almost, I was saying earlier before we went live, it's very similar to a thicker in the weight of the paper. And I have just a little example of that as well. This is a Halloween banner that I'm working on, and I wanted to just print out all of the layers on the sticker. This was just a little example that I did before I made the actual big one, and then just put that on a piece of chipboard so that I didn't have to layer. This would have been, I think it's 3 layers that would have been layered, and I cut it down to just printing out the sticker and putting it right on chipboard.
Gotcha. Now, with this, do you have to use a mat?
That's correct. Yes, you will use your standard your standard Cricut mat with these products, and obviously with the mat, the registration marks will print. But I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later. But you will just use everything is just business as usual. We're just adding a printer.
Gotcha. Now, Ken, do you have any stuff to show on what stuff that you made with any of your
Yeah, I've made a couple different phone covers. So I was able to make these phone covers with the printable vinyl, and I did the video on that. The printable vinyl is repositionable, so I really do like the fact that you can actually peel it up and reapply it. And I actually dropped a little bit of it in some dog hair because I have dogs, and it actually came off really nice. And then on the printable sticker paper, I made this kind of kitchen decor here, and I was really, really impressed with the sticker paper because, as Christopher said, it's a nice thicker sticker paper, and I've used competitor sticker paper, and it is not as high quality in my opinion. So Cricut did a really good job. I was actually, one of the questions when Christopher and I first got this, because I got my materials before him, he goes, sticker paper and vinyl is the same thing. Like, we were at first like, what's the big difference? Because it's if you think about it, the vinyl and sticker paper, when you break it down, is the same thing. But once you actually feel it, you'll feel the difference. The vinyl is very thin but high quality. When I printed it, I didn't have any smudges. I didn't have any bleeding of it on my printer. So that was another question I kept getting was, did it print good, and did you have to allow dry time? And on mine, I did not. It dried very quickly, and the sticker paper, though I will say, is not, in my opinion, repositionable. As soon as I put it down, I was not able to lift it up, and even on this metal here, as you can see, I can try to bring it back up, but it's as well. I just ripped it.
Oh man, you just ruined that on my show.
Well, you know, the things I do for the integrity of the show, Rob, just to show the viewers that it is not repositionable like the vinyl is. So,
all right, luckily you have more sticker paper.
I do.
All right, so someone asked the question: is this? It says, is that the same vinyl as they sold with the Imagine, or is it an improved version? I had an old Cricut printable vinyl. I had the old Cricut printable vinyl. So is this anything like the...
So first of all, in the Cricut Imagine vinyl, that one was 12 by 12. This is 8.5 by 11. So that's the first thing that I noticed is the size difference. In my opinion, it's a higher quality. The Imagine one, in my opinion, I had success with it, but it was hard to say if it could ever smudge or not, because on the Imagine, it was a print and cut, so it did the printing and cutting right then. But it is a completely different product, so it is something that, in my opinion, is not like the Imagine vinyl, and it's a little bit of a different texture too, so it's a little bit lighter weight. And with the Imagine vinyl, I always had a hard time doing repositioning with that vinyl, so it was a little bit more permanent for me, so I like it better in my personal opinion.
Gotcha. Well, I guess Christopher dipped out again because he had a question, or Jana, she had a question if she could get a link to that Skull SVG or to purchase it. So once he gets back in here, we'll get that link for you. All right. All right. So moving on. If there's no questions yet, like I said, feel free to post your questions. Because I have questions, but if you guys have questions, feel free to post them. We will answer them. All right. Scrolling through, people are still baby guessing. So yeah, try to guess those babies. See who's who. All right. All right. I'm going to go ahead and screen share, and maybe we can talk about some of these. I took some screenshots from Ken and Christopher's video, and I thought maybe that they can explain some of these things on what's new. So let's see if I can share that. Are you guys seeing that? You seeing it, Ken?
I see it.
All right, cool. So it looks like it's working. All right, so probably one of the first things that they'll probably notice is in their layers that they actually get to see 2 more tools, or maybe 3 if you consider the flatten and then unflatten. So
correct.
So I thought maybe we can talk about the slice tool first. Okay,
so yeah, the slice tool, in my opinion, is one of the underdogs of this release. Everyone's talking about this print and cut, and I actually talked to another beta tester, Paulette, because I didn't at first. I got the slice tool, but I didn't. I kind of said, okay, I think this is like the cookie cutter thing. Explain it to me right. And then as soon as I talked to her, I got really excited because this is the first step for Cricut in giving us designing capabilities. So in my opinion, it's a lot like a cookie cutter. You can take that top layer and cookie cutter through the bottom layer. And the more I played with it, the more excited I got because it opens up so much more possibilities. And it kind of it's getting overshadowed by the print and cut, because I know a lot of people are very excited about the print and cut, but the slice feature is giving us a lot more capabilities we just didn't have. And a lot of people have said, why is this different than attach? Well, number one thing is you don't have to attach to get the results, but number 2, you maintain your original shape, and it's, in my opinion, a lot easier of a process. I love the slice feature. In my video, I also show how you can use it with text. You can create your own custom punch-outs. So
yeah, I got a photo of that for them too, Ken. So like, you just dragged that thanks on top of that pink box there, and then you hit slice to fit. Now something that you brought up in your video about the slice feature. I think maybe it's a couple things. One, it has to be something about it has to be used with Cricut products right now only. Is that right?
Correct. Unless Christopher could correct me if I'm wrong. I have not been successfully on getting it to work with anything besides the Cricut Images. I have not been able to bring in another image with slice and get it to work. So it's from this point just Cricut Images. Have you had any different results on that, Christopher?
I have not, and that is actually my only complaint right now, is that I'm unable to use it with the other images because I would like to bring in photographs and cut around them for a Project Life project. I think we had a discussion about that, Ken, where you can make they sell these big elaborate punches and all of these different things that you can use to make the perfect size of Project Life page, little cutouts. And with that slice feature, we would be able to take a photograph and size it, and to the size that we want, and then just cut out that portion. So it's definitely something that I have emailed, and hopefully we'll see that change in the future.
All right. Yeah. I stole these from you, Christopher. So.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, I took those from your video. That one.
All right.
The one with thanks is from Ken.
Yeah.
So.
I was like, I didn't recognize that one. The heart one was where I did that slice, and then I also was using it to use for a shaker card. I think that is going to change everything with the shaker card. I did a shaker card cutout video. If any of you had seen that, where you were actually cutting out the outline of a balloon and putting the confetti inside, and it took me forever to figure out how I was going to teach everyone to do that. And now with the slice feature, it's one click. So if I would have waited a little bit longer, that video would have been a lot shorter. But now, we know the long way to do it, and now we'll have the slice tool, which can do it very, very quickly.
All right. Yeah, so the slice tool's pretty cool. That's what Annette says. She said yay for the slice tool. So I think it's going to be a welcomed feature for the Cricut.
Yeah, and just make sure you ungroup your items. And in that photo you're showing right now, the thanks had 2 layers to it. So if you try to put the thanks on there and try to do the slice, it's not going to allow you. The option of slice is going to be shadowed out, and that's because you have to take that top layer of thanks, that H, N, and S, off of it to get the slice to work. It's only a 2-layer type of thing.
All right. Right, so let's talk a little bit about the print and cut sort of features, and let's talk about the calibration. Okay, is a calibration hard, easy? I saw Christopher's video on it, and it looked like it had a bunch of numbers and then letters on the side, and then it cut out a square. Was the process hard? Process easy? What do you guys think?
Very easy. Very, very simple.
So easy. It literally could not have been easier. I was nervous that it was going to be difficult, but you literally just follow the steps on the screen and you're ready to go. Ken, do you actually have a picture of that calibration or an example of it?
The calibration itself?
The sheet.
The machine.
The sheet.
Oh, the sheet.
Yeah, the sheet. Yeah.
I actually do have one. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because it shows how easy. It's so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the times the issue with a print cut is going to be the calibration and the calibration process. A lot of times people will have to manually type in numbers and.
Well, and for anyone who had the Cricut Imagine, it's going to look very familiar because the Cricut Imagine had the same kind of calibration. Now, it didn't have, obviously, these registration marks, but the Cricut Imagine had all of these little dashes, and it would make little cuts on the dashes, and then you would say which numbers it lined up with. So if you were a Cricut Imagine owner, it's going to look very, very familiar. So it's a very easy process to walk through.
All right. Yeah. So let's see if I haven't really read this one, the handmade card one. Let me stop screen sharing.
I was actually just looking at that one too.
Okay, so maybe you can go ahead and take a look at that one there, Christopher. It says, yeah, you can go ahead and read it.
Oh, okay. It says when you do the calibration for the Explore for print to cut, print then cut. Sorry, Ken. Are you calibrating the Explore or the printer to the Explore? Does the calibration have to be done for each printer or just once for the Explore? can the bleed area be set by the user, or is it, I believe it said,
Stationary.
I think it says stationary. Okay. We'll address the first part of this question first. When you're calibrating, you're actually calibrating the printer to the Explorer, meaning that whatever your printer, each printer will print a little bit of a different way on a piece of paper. Sometimes it might be a 1/16 of an inch off from the side. Sometimes it might be an 1/8 of an inch difference than another printer. So what it's looking at is where your printer prints on the page. So once you do the calibration and it reads those, what's the word I'm looking for? Those registration marks, you are set and good to go. Also, in my experience, Ken may have experienced something different. I have 3 printers that I actually use. With mine, I have a large format printer that I use. I also have a smaller Epson that I just purchased, that I purchased literally just for print to cut, because it is able to print beautifully on the 8.5 by 11. And I also use an HP printer that I have downstairs in the office for photographs, but I can use that for either or. And all of those were calibrated exactly the same at the same time as the other ones. So is that correct, Ken? Did you have to calibrate your other printers as well? I did not.
I did not. No, I was able to just do the one.
Okay, and do you want to answer the bleed area question because that's your expertise?
Yeah, I thought we'll answer that once we get into the bleed area.
Okay, perfect.
Because I got some photos to show what bleed is actually talking about. Bleed area.
Yeah, he's much better with that than I am.
Now with the calibration, now is there any setting within design space, since you said we're calibrating it to the printer, to say, all right, save this calibration setting as my Epson, save this one as my brother?
There's no need for that, because you're not calibrating the printer, you're calibrating the machine. And I actually have, let me share my screen here really quick. Paulette has actually done a really good job on her blog at scrappalette.blogspot.com. Me and Christopher did videos, but Paulette actually did a really good job doing photo documentation of that, and that's what the calibration looks like. So you can see the difference. So there is what it's going to end up looking like, and then she actually did a really good job documenting the whole process. So that's what's going to print off of your computer, and then this here, these little up here are the actual registration marks that your optical eye is going to read, but this is what we're talking about on those little tiny lines it's going to cut. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to cut this square right here in the middle, and then it will go through, and then it's going to cut all of these little lines, and then you're going to go out and say, okay, I really like number 11, letter M, and then it's going to say perfect, and then it's going to cut this square right here, and then basically it's going to say, are you happy with this cut? And then it will save that setting to your Cricut Explore. So you don't have to worry about it saving to your printer. It's mostly saving towards your Explorer.
Gotcha. This question comes from Jerry. She said, do we have to have a Cricut Bluetooth to use your printer? My printer is wireless.
No. Yeah, my printer's wireless too, so I print wirelessly from my printer, and then I was able to cut it using the Bluetooth without hooking any cord, so I was cord-free through the process.
Now, once this print then cut comes out, is there going to be some sort of any firmware upgrade at all for the machine?
Yeah, so I know right now people are doing their plugin updates right now, but there is a separate firmware update for the machine as well. So you'll have the plugin and firmware updates both.
Okay, and can this update be done via Bluetooth, or do I have to physically connect?
I had to physically connect mine via the USB port, so it will not let me use my Bluetooth. I had to plug it in, and it will tell you if you're trying to do the Bluetooth, it will say you need to plug it in via your USB on your instruction sheet. It will say please plug in your machine via your USB cable.
All right.
Yes, keep that handy. I had a panic attack. I was calling Ken and I said I can't upgrade anything. I have no idea where I put my cord.
And she says she said the Imagine was very easy to do. So I guess if that was easy to do, this one should be just as easy.
Correct.
Because you said it basically uses the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
but it's so much nicer because we can use our own printer. If you want to have really whatever type of quality you would like to have with your prints, you can now, you're at the power of that. Whereas before you were only able to use the printer within the Imagine. Now, I mean, you can use whatever you want.
All right. Lisa, she says, guys, please say that you're going to be doing a hangout on the night this product is available to us. I guess she's wanting some live help. Live help.
That would be an emergency hangout because Ken and I have no idea when it's going to be released. And that is not a lie. I know you guys are going to have trouble trusting us in the future because we have known about this for a while now. We were not able to tell you, but we honestly have no idea when it's actually going to be released. It's sometime next week. So it would have to be kind of a pop-up hangout because we have no idea.
Pop-out hangout. All right. Rochelle, she says, will there be a link on the Facebook page after this is done so she can watch later after the fact? Yes, all these videos are recorded. So as soon as the show's over, it's going to go up on YouTube. It'll be live about 5 minutes later. Okay, so... All right, so I guess that answers those questions. Now let's get into, I'm going to go ahead and screen share and finish up these little screenshots that I stole from your video here, Ken. And we're going to be talking about the bleed. All right. So this right here is your little dog and fish image. And you said underneath the settings that you can go up there and we'll find. Let me see if I have the video here. Yeah, bleed. So what's bleed?
So the bleed is a genius concept on Cricut's part. I'm really particular, and one of the things that I always struggled with on my Silhouette Cameo is I love the print and cut, but I would always get a tiny little bit of a white around my items. And the bleed is a dynamic bleed in the fact that it actually gives you the same color just on the outside of your image. And so what it's doing is I kind of tell you it's giving you a insurance or kind of that buffer room, so that way when it's cutting around your item, it's giving you a bleed outside of your main image, so that way when it cuts, it's giving you that much area to where if it is for whatever reason a little off, it's not going to cut out that white. So I call it my insurance area or my insurance room, but basically it's just giving you that bleed line to make sure you're not getting a bad cut. If you watch my video, you'll see when I turn it on and off, basically it's like kind of making your shape bold and then not bold. It basically just gives it a bolder look to it because it's literally putting the same color around the entire item. So around the dog is brown, around the carpet area it's blue. And so I think it's brilliant on Cricut's part to come up with that.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can see this. I mean, you can definitely see it on his video, but the reason why we can't show you live is because it's not live, but
we don't have it anymore.
Yeah, it got taken away from all those beta testers. But you'll notice this thick brown line that's right there. And when I go to this next photo, you can see how skinny that line is. Hopefully you guys can see it, But just like Ken said, it looks like it's putting an extra little shadow layer of it says, okay, this is brown over here, so I'm going to make this brown a little thicker over here, just in case my calibration may be just a little bit off. You'll still see full color and won't see any white. And Ken, he actually, he showed the video here, so I mean you can definitely see how thick those lines are. But I was surprised, to see the outcome. But that's the Cricut. The Cricut has that light on there to help with that registration mark.
Which is ingenious because there's many a times that I have had to take a flashlight and put it on other machines to get it to scan my registration mark. So
other machines. With the bleed, I just want to add real quick. You want to you're gonna be nervous at first because when the bleed comes up in your preview, you're going to think that something is terribly wrong with your image. I know that I experienced that at the beginning, and Ken, I don't know if you felt that way. When I first saw the print to cut a couple of months ago, I thought that there was something terribly wrong with the picture because I didn't know what the bleed was, because it's going to make your picture look a a little bit distorted almost on the edges. But your picture is fine. You'll see that, and it is ingenious because this is something that graphic designers have been using forever. Whenever you submit a project, I actually, fun fact, went to school and have a degree in visual communications, and we learned about bleed lines because you put bleed lines on any project that you do before you send it to a publisher or a printer because you want to make sure, because again, every printer and every publisher is going to have a different calibration on their machine, so they will tell you what the bleed line should be so that whenever they cut it out or they do, their assembly, that it is a perfect image every time. So it's just brilliant because it's something that's so simple and used, by everyone in the design community, and now it's handed down to anyone to be able to use.
Yeah, I don't know another machine or another cutting, personal scrapbooking, crafting machine that does this. As far as that extra bleed line, so it is a unique concept, and that photo does look funny. I mean, like if you take a look at it, it does look funny. You're like, oh my gosh, those are like really thick lines here. I'm a little worried, especially on that inside of that fishbowl. I was like, but you'll see that it actually cuts it out. Let's see. I'm going through some questions here. I don't know if you guys feel free to put up questions there, Christopher. Let's see if anything pops out.
Oh, I like how Pat Melding said, we now know why Cricut put a light on the Explorer. Everybody was posting about that for a while because they thought that maybe like they were like it was some sort of like audio device or something. They would know it was just it was just trying to figure out what it was supposed to be doing without the firmware upgrade to tell it what to do.
Well, Ken said he's going to, I think this weekend, come up with a new series of videos called Cutting After Dark, and we're going to actually see if the Cricut can cut in pure blackout.
Oh, that's good. That would be a Ken's Kreations video, putting something really to the test. Next Thursday, I hear he's going to try to cut with the Explorer underwater. So we will see. We will see how the Explorer does underwater and how the Cameo does underwater. So stay tuned.
Yes.
I'm going to be on the edge of my seat. I don't know about anybody else.
You are ridiculous.
All right. Looks like my screen thing's not working right. Let me.
We just got one. What is the maximum size image that can be print then cut? And I don't know if we have a definitive answer on this yet. I don't know if that was finished yet.
Yeah, when I was trying to print and cut on my menu board, I printed those frames, and the max I could do it was almost 6 and 3/4 inch. And I don't know if it's different for each image, but it literally will let you know. It comes up with a big orange bar across the top, and it says this image is too big for 8.5 by 11. And I show that in that video. So if you watch the video about printable sticker paper, I actually give you a demonstration if an image is too big, what that warning is. Which, I mean, makes sense because they have to also fit those registration marks on that paper too. So I couldn't get that frame bigger than 6 3/4 inch.
I think that's how it was for mine as well. We have lots of baby picture guesses.
And then there is a question about the Imagine owners. Yes, there was an email about Imagine owners regarding if you were an Imagine owner and you registered your Imagine and you should have gotten an email saying basically that Cricut is giving you access to all of the Cricut Imagine designs to be used in Design Space. Now keep in mind, what is very important on this is if you did not get that email, you need to make sure you reach out to Cricut because they want to make sure you do this before the end of the year, because if not, you're not going to get those added to your account. And this is, I think, basically a huge step for Cricut in the right direction in making sure that those Imagine owners are happy. And I know I was excited to see it. I was an Imagine owner. I know a lot of Imagine people were happy. So make sure if you did not get that email, you are reaching out to Cricut to say, you want to make sure you get those Imagine images, because I think that's going to be a huge thing for people to be able to use those Imagine images now in your Cricut Explore, because they're awesome images. And at the end of that email, I don't know if anyone else caught that, but they said that it will also give you access to the printable patterns, so that way in future updates when those come, you'll have access to those, which is awesome. So that just reiterates the fact that we will be getting access to those very soon. Let's take a look here.
All right,
Yeah,
you
take
can
a look.
still hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Sorry, my internet went down, so I'm back with you.
Oh, here's a really good one.
What you got,
Yeah.
Christopher?
Can you print then cut your own images, or do they have to be Cricut images? This is it's a fantastic question. You can bring in JPEGs. You can bring in really anything that you were able to bring in previously with your images when you were bringing in the import images and things of that nature. Anything that you can bring in that the Explorer will allow you to bring in, you are able to go ahead and clean up the image, and the Cricut will cut it. It's going to be the exact same kind of premise, and I'm not sure if Ken showed this in his video, but I am going to kind of review in a video coming up how to go from start to finish of bringing an image in, because it is a little bit different than if you were doing it without the print then cut, and it will cut around it beautifully. I did a couple of very intricate images whenever I first started. I mean, the skull image on my iPad cover is extremely intricate, and it was able to, once I cleaned it up, it cut around everything absolutely beautifully. So you can use really any image that you can bring in that you can cut around. My favorite, like I said earlier with the slices, I like to bring in the family photos in all different sizes, and you can print them out, and it will cut perfectly around those to any size that you specify. So you don't have to bring out the big cutting board and things like that, and make sure that everything's cut perfectly on the side. I know I can't use a cutting board to save my life, whatever you wanna call that. I'm terrible with it, so that's why I have a Cricut.
Now, since I just got back on, I don't know if you guys answered this question or not from. Hold on, I got some stuff in my way. Jolene, have you guys answered this one yet, Ken?
I didn't see her.
It says my Imagine images are already in CC.
We have not. We were actually just talking about the Imagine images. They're not in Design Space yet, because when that becomes an update, they're going to be under a category called printables. So you're going to see your Imagine cartridges when you go into your filter. They'll be under printables. They'll also be in your general library, and you'll know that they are an old legacy Imagine cartridge because they'll have a little printer icon on them. And that will let you know that they are a already print then cut item, meaning that you don't really have to do anything. You just bring them in, and they're already flattened. When we finally do get through the update and upgrade, you'll see those under printables. And I believe Paulette and Norel has it on their blogs. That if you don't want to watch any of our videos, or you're more of a visual learner, they actually have nice screenshots of those on their blogs where you actually can see under the filter option where there is a printable setting now. So it actually will say printable, and there is been validation that they're adding new printables. So there's a new Sesame Street one coming out called Sesame 123. It's exclusive for printables. So it is been verified that they are releasing new sets for printables. And to clarify, I just wanted to bring this one up. We were just talking about calling customer service about if your Imagine is missing those cartridges and you want to, and Paulette has notified me, which I didn't know, and this is good to know, that they don't want them calling because of the volume, which makes sense, because I bet you they are getting tons of calls right now on the firmware or the plugin. So they should register their Imagine and send an email with the serial number to imagineowners@cricut.com. So very good information there. So make sure that, once again, if you're an Imagine owner and you want to get those items, make sure you are registering that Imagine. Send an email with the serial number to imagineowners@cricut.com.
All right. So what about this question? Is it better to link your Imagine cartridges to Gypsy first?
Oh, this is a Ken question.
I don't know. Where do you see this question?
It says, is
It's
it
on it's on
better?
the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Um,
Is it better to link
I
your Imagine carts?
Well, you can't link your Imagine carts with the Explorer. So if you haven't linked them yet, you're going to have to link them either via the Gypsy or through the Expressions 2 or the Imagine. I linked all mine through the Gypsy just because I was using the Gypsy at the time to do all my designing. So if you're going to still use that Gypsy, I would absolutely recommend it. But if that's your only way of linking it to Cricut Craft Room, excuse me, to your Cricut.com account, I would say definitely do that if you're going to be using the Gypsy. It doesn't really matter, what you link it to, because it's no longer linking to a Gypsy versus an expression or design space. It's linking to your Cricut.com account, and that's what's important now, is that Cricut.com account. Whatever you link to your account is what's staying with you now.
All right. What about this question here? Got a lot of good questions today, man.
I was just looking at that one as well.
All right. Can you add bleed? Can you add a bleed to those images that you bring in?
Yep.
I think that's where the dynamic bleed name came from, because on some of the more intricate images, you are going to have areas. With most of the Cricut images, luckily, you are going to have pretty much the same color all the way around the Cricut image, simply because that's the way the Cricut images were designed, with a shadow or with one single layer that will be the bottom layer. The nice thing about the dynamic bleed is it is going to actually use a process to kind of blur the colors. I don't know if that would be the right term, Ken. I think that's kind of what it looks like to me. It blurs the colors around the edge, kind of mixing them together so that once it cuts, the outside edge image is going to it's going to be the perfect color, basically. The perfect color combination will be out into the bleed line. It's actually very, very neat.
Paulette says don't link them.
Well, and she's right. That's an obvious answer. They're going to automatically be added to your Imagine account. Your Cricut.com account if you've registered your Imagine. So that's an obvious. I don't even know what I was thinking. So yeah, absolutely. That's one of those moments in life that you're just like, oh yeah, duh. Well, that's.
When she said Gypsy,
That
it
was
completely threw me off. I know nothing about that Gypsy.
So yeah, if you had the Imagine, obviously, and it's registered, they're automatically going to add them. So there is no sense in linking them. So that's an absolute correct answer. So forgive my answer there.
All right.
When you republish this on YouTube, maybe cut that part out, Rob.
All right. We'll try.
We've been asking that for a while.
I wanted to sort of get back to the bleed line, since that was one of the questions. And like before my internet went out, we're talking about this bleed line here. How this photo looks funny, how it looks funny, and then I wanted to show you guys what Ken actually cut out, because it really did look amazing. And in his video, he also did one with the pirate ship. And how's the pirate ship different than this one, Ken?
Well, the pirate ship, the reason I did the pirate ship is I was just excited to see all my Imagine cartridges in Design Space, because I had every single Imagine cartridge. So number one. Number two, the Imagine cartridges have textured to their or patterns to their printing. So this one, as you can see, is a solid brown and green, where the pirate ship is going to have more of patterns to the paper. The other thing on the pattern ship that I was completely blown away by is when it was cutting that pirate ship, it was cutting areas I didn't even think I knew it was going to cut, and it was so amazing and detailed on cutting out the tiny little in between the railings and in the little lights and stuff. So it was really impressive. And once again, it brought in that bleed line, so there was no white. So I was very impressed with it.
All right. Let me get into some of these other questions. I know K Hall is clever someday, in case you guys didn't know. But we'll bring up some of her comments here. Let me stop screen sharing so we can see the comment. And all right, you see that comment there, Ken? Should be on the screen now.
Oh, Ken, we just talked about this.
Oh, no. Oh, you two did, but we haven't discussed it on the video yet?
No, we did not talk about it on the video, but we talked about it off camera.
Okay, go ahead and tell us what she's talking about. And
you want to take it, Ken, or do you want me to talk?
No,
about
you got it. You're all over this one.
Can you edit the amount of detail cut on your print then cuts, and is there a way to preview what will cut? There's a yes and no kind of with this question. With the Cricut Explore print then cut, everything that you are going to preview is done before you actually bring the image in. And that would be with an image, if you are bringing an image in that is not a Cricut image. I should preface that by saying, if you bring in, say, a JPEG, or you bring in a GIF image, or you bring in a PNG, you are going to be able to bring that in and import it exactly how you would right now. If you were going to be cutting out like a shadow of something, and you will be able to see the red line going around the image to what is going to be cut out. You, of course, will still have the magic wand as well as the eraser tool that you can use to kind of define where you're going to be cutting, or where the Explorer is going to be cutting around. But there is not going to be any type of a preview to your cut when you send it to the printer, if that's part of the question. It's the preview that you have is done before it gets put on the mat, and that is the final preview that you will have of what will be cut.
Okay. Pat asked this question here. You guys can pull it up on your screen as well. The Imagine cards have paper patterns. Will these be available as well?
I hope so.
At this release, they are not available. But once again, they sent out that email to all Imagine owners about adding all those cartridges, and it says at the last sentence it says is, you will also be granted access to Cricut Imagine colors and pattern cartridges in a future release of Print Then Cut. Once again, we thank you for being a loyal customer. So that lets me know that they're working on, if they're going to link those, they're working on releasing those at some time into Design Space to use. But during this release, you are not able to use those.
Okay, here's another question for you guys, since you guys have all these printers. Will a laser printer work, or is it only inkjet? She wants to know if the laser would burn the vinyl.
I saw this in one of the groups, and I believe it was actually Paulette's group that I had seen this question in. And I'm not sure, Paulette, I know that she's watching. I'm not sure if she was going to figure out an answer for this. Or I believe that there was someone in one of the groups. I personally do not know the answer because I've never used a laser printer at home. Ken, do you know the answer to this one?
I have gotten this question probably 6 times since Print Then Cut, so I've sent out 2 emails to get an answer because I too have never had a laser printer, and I've gotten a lot of people, obviously since it's coming out, a lot of people are upgrading their printers. And this is specifically the question I got is, would it burn the vinyl? And I don't want to say yes or no because I don't want to give the incorrect information. I would assume, from my experience in the past, I don't think it would, but I don't know that for sure. Or they would have said on the packaging not to be used with laser printers. But once again, I wanted to reach out to get professional opinion saying yes or no, but at this time, if I had to look at it, I would say no, it wouldn't. And there's this question from Sharon, once again, just so there's no confusion. She said, did I hear that all Imagine cards will be available to Imagine owners, or just the ones we own? I got confused. I was a gypsy person. So as long as you registered your machine, all Imagine cards will be available to you. They'll be linked to your Cricut.com account, and you'll be able to use those at the time of launch. So just make sure that you got that email. So basically, with the launch of Print Then Cut feature, your Cricut.com account will be granted free digital access to all Cricut Imagine art cartridges, even those you haven't purchased, in Cricut Design Space for future use with Cricut Explore machines, whether you have one now or purchase one in the future. It's very important, you guys, though. You want to make sure you do this. You need to claim this offer if you haven't by December 31st, 2014. So if you got the email, you don't have to do anything. It's already been done. It's for those people that, for whatever reason, haven't got that email. Let's see here. Handmade Cards said laser printers very hot. So I would assume that we definitely want to get clarification on that, and that's why I know I've sent emails. I'm not sure if Rob sent emails or Paulette sent emails, but I know that that is a question that's been coming up a lot. So we'll have an answer to that as soon as I'm sure that they've been going through a lot of stuff with all of these upgrades and stuff, with all the customers going through these plugin stuff. So as soon as we have an answer on that, we'll absolutely get you that information on the lasers. But I agree, they are very hot. So until we know the official answer, I would hold off buying a laser printer.
Yeah.
Maybe she already has it. But
this is true.
Yeah. I do remember a guy. He sent me some products to review, and he did have a specific vinyl set or printable set for laser printers and inkjet. So maybe it's the same sort of deal, that you need two different products.
Could be, yeah.
Have those types.
We're getting a lot of questions on what you can print on. We have one from Karen that says, good question on Shrinky Dink. We have another one that says, can you print on heavy media like chipboard and shrink plastic? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that anything that can go through your printer, you can print and then cut. The machine is not what is going to limit you here. It's going to be your printer. If you can, and I know that there's tons of printable, what's the word I'm looking for? Printable materials out there. For instance, I have a video coming out very soon where I'm going to use printable magnet that you can put through your printer. Obviously, we know with our Explorer, it is the #1 machine, in my opinion, out there for the variety of materials that it can cut. So if you can find a printable Shrinky Dink, which Shrinky Dinks are Ken's territory, or a printable, I think that you said the chipboard, as well as a printable film, then absolutely. I think that's a great idea to get maybe some acetate. I know that with the shaker cards and things like that, I have used a lot of acetate and things of that nature. I think that that's a great idea to take the acetate maybe for a shaker card and print Happy Birthday on the actual acetate, and then use that as your little window for the shaker. I'm getting lots of ideas here, guys. So we'll in the future, I mean, we'll try all of these things, right, Ken? I mean, we have a long way to go with print and cut, at least with what we know of the information of what can be print and done. So the more projects that you kind of throw at us, the more that Ken and I can do, and we'll release tutorials. And there's, I mean, we'll try anything with these machines. As you can see, you know, we have. I mean, I wrote on a popsicle stick, for goodness sakes. We'll try anything.
Let's see. She said she's. I don't know if this is new. My internet went out again, so we'll see. Have you guys answered this one yet? I missed the first video trying to get on tablet. You may have answered this. Can you link more than one printer? Have you guys saw that question?
We kind of did. There's no need to link printers. It's all about calibrating your machine. I've used 3 different printers on this because I was having an issue in the very beginning of my beta testing, and they didn't know if it was with my computer or my printer. So they had me trying 3 different printers, and when your print screen comes up, it asks you what printer you want to print on, just like it normally would, and you can drop down and select the printer. So all 3 of my printers are on my Wi-Fi system, so I could actually choose between all 3 of them. I don't have to calibrate or do anything with the printer. That was all with the machine. So no need to worry about anything on the printer.
All right.
There's one about heat transfer vinyl. It says, "What about a printable heat transfer vinyl (HTV)? Any idea where we can get this to work with home printers? Is Cricut going to make that available?" As of right now, I do not know that Cricut is making that available. They have not told us anything about any other materials that are coming out, at least that we can share. But I know that there are quite a few heat transfer vinyls that are out there on the market now that you can get. I think Avery makes a heat transfer. It's like a heat transfer printable vinyl. There's quite a few that are out there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that Cricut will bring one out in the future, because obviously any Cricut material has been tested over and over and over again within the printers as well as with the machine. So hopefully they will come out with one. But I know there are some products out there that I was actually looking at when I first started testing the print then cut option.
Here's another one from Clever Someday. She says, "Can you do a print then cut smaller than an 8.5 by 11? If so, what's the minimum size?"
I don't know this one. I didn't do anything super small. I was excited to do everything super big.
But your pirates small cuts.
So I don't know if she's asking about if we can change the paper size or the image size. Obviously, you can do image size differently, but to my knowledge, I wasn't able to adjust my paper from 8.5 by 11 to a different paper size. So the Cricut Explore and Design Space automatically puts it on 8.5 by 11 paper. At this time of release, they're not supporting a 12 by 12 printing. So I believe that is in future updates. So I'm assuming that maybe more size features would come then. So I'm not sure if you're asking if we can change the paper size. If so, if you mean cut smaller than the actual images, obviously, yes, you can cut those pretty small on print then cut. But the actual paper size at this time, and I could be wrong, I didn't play around with that too much, but I did not see an option to change my paper size. Even when I went to the drop-down menu in my printer options, I wasn't able to manipulate the printer size.
All right. Yeah, I'm trying to scroll through all these questions. I mean, yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to post them.
I think it's the most questions we've ever had. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good turnout today. I think we have at least 3 people watching us. So very, very cool, guys.
And I do
They're all Ken's family.
Did you try any photos with print then cut, and how was the color? So I did this here. Let me turn this question off. And I did this here, which is this color on the vinyl. I also did some on paper, and it was really good. The color was actually very good. In my opinion, it was a little bit better than the Silhouette on their color. So I thought it did very well. It did very well on the vinyl. I did not try doing it on their sticker paper, so that's something I have not tried yet. But I was very impressed, and I was very particular on my photos because I want to, especially with the printable vinyl, I have a project coming up where I'm going to be doing a lot with that printable vinyl using my own pictures and doing a picture wall. So I was very, very impressed with how well that turned out.
All right, Linda, she says she joined late, so ignore this question if it's already been covered for the print and cut. Can you print a few things and then do the cuts? So is that saying have multiple items on the same sheet to cut? Is that what you...
Oh, I know what she's asking. Yes, you. So I think she's asking, like, say for instance, and this is actually a perfect example that I did. I actually did last night, and I posted this on my Facebook page and everywhere that I post. I did this banner with print to cut, or print then cut. Oh goodness, print then cut, and I actually printed out. I think this banner in total is something like, I think there's 18 of these, and I printed all of them out first. And then I put it through the machine. Now, within that question, you are going to set, just like we do now with our Explorer, you're going to set that you want 18 of those images to be cut. So whenever you set that, it's going to cut out, or excuse me, it's going to print 18 of those images, and then you're just going to continually feed them through the machine. Just like if you were to do, like, say, 18 circles for a project, you would do the exact same thing. So you don't have to print, then cut, then print, then cut. You can actually print them all out at once and then cut them all out.
Streamline it like a factory.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was so happy that I could do that, because I was able to get 2 of these per 8.5 by 11 sheet, as opposed to trying to do all of them on one each on a separate piece of paper.
Yeah, K1. I guess you were right, Ken, with that smaller size. That's what she was talking about. She said that she can put a chipboard in a CD tray of her printer, which is why she was asking about the small paper size.
Correct, yeah, because I know for Silhouette gives you the ability to print at different sizes and stuff. So I do know that was one of the first questions when I got beta testing was, can I print on 12 by 12? And I was told, no, not right now, but it is coming in future releases. So I am hoping that more sizes are going to be coming.
All right. Jerry wants to know, why do we pick on Chris so much?
I want to know that too, Jerry. Thank you. I think it's because I'm still the new guy.
Yeah, he's going through his initiation phase right now.
Yeah.
Sharon says the reason why a lot more people are trying to watch, a lot of her friends are on tablets that can't get through. I guess internet is kind of iffy and glitchy. So I apologize for that, but don't worry, the video will be up on YouTube 5 minutes after we close it out.
I want to say hi to Sharon. She actually sent me a message today because she wanted to come to this hangout very, very badly, and she could not figure out exactly where to go. So I sent her over all that information. So I just want to say hi to Sharon because I'm excited you were able to make it.
Here we go. Here's another question for you guys. Can you print and cut with photo glossy paper, or do I have to use glossy cardstock?
You can print with both. You can print with pretty much anything. The biggest thing on the stuff is, and that's what I've noticed, is when you're printing and on this stuff is the picking up of registration marks. So on the glossy paper, I had to make sure it dried very well because the registration marks is what it's trying to pick up, and because it has that light, it was able to pick that up. So I was able to cut just fine with that.
All right, here's a statistic question for you guys. How many ink cartridges have you guys gone through since beta testing?
I actually have not changed mine yet, actually.
That's because you have a special deal. You have a dealer.
Yeah, I haven't. Now I'm going to say that I did purchase a new printer. So, I mean, obviously you're not going to want to necessarily do that. You just want to get new ink cartridges. But I did switch.
Cheaper than the ink.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, I had not had to change my ink cartridge because you have to remember you're not printing big things with this. You're only printing, things that are up to 6 inches. So, have you had to change yours yet, Ken?
I have not. I have an Epson printer, which in my opinion is much better than an HP printer. Actually, no, I've been very grateful of the fact that I haven't had to change it up to this point. But I do believe it is going to be coming soon because I did a lot of testing with this, especially with other people's PNG files and JPEG files. So I'm anticipating it will be coming soon.
Yeah, I just ordered more ink just in case. Ken and I were constantly sending pictures to each other of, what would cut and what would not cut. So we used a lot of ink.
Let's see. Jolene, if something happens to calibration on the print and cut, can you go back and recalibrate? Is there a setting to click?
You actually, at the very end of the calibration, it will ask you if it's up to your setting, and so you either say yes or no. If you hit no, it literally walks you through the entire calibration process again. If you hit yes, and let's say 3 weeks later you're doing a print and cut project and it just isn't looking right, all you do is you go up to click on your little green guy in the upper left-hand corner where you go in to log into your design space. There's a calibration option, and you just go through the process again. So it's a very, very easy process. It's right under the firmware update, so you just keep recalibrating it until you find the desired effect. So I would say, though, through all of my beta testing, I never had to recalibrate it, and I moved my machine back and forth to my cupboard, so I was impressed that it stayed calibrated the whole time.
All right, Trezik, she asked this question here. She said, will the old Imagine mats with their registration marks mess up the Explore print and cut feature?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so, because it's actually looking for the printed registration marks that is on the paper. So though the old mats with the registration marks out to the side, they're so far out, the optical eye wouldn't be able to get out that far. So I don't think it's going to affect it at all.
All right, Carolyn, she says, I probably missed this, but do I need to calibrate every time, or is it just a one-time thing?
One time.
Or you can recalibrate any time that you feel like it needs to be done.
All right.
You just click that little gear that's up in the corner that we use for checking for the firmware updates and everything like that. That's where you can do the recalibration. Is that right, Ken?
Yeah, it's your little green guy.
Okay.
So where your little green guy is up in your left-hand corner where you log in to use all your subscription and all that stuff and to link cartridges, it's all right there.
I don't know why I thought it was a gear. Yeah, it's the same thing you use to log in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This one right here says, sorry, I just joined in. Well, first of all, shame on you for just joining in, but glad you made it. In case this is a repeat question, if I wanted a 3D image, how would I do this with print and cut? Hi, Ken. You have been so helpful to me. So you got another top fan there, Ken.
Oh, Calmom's been a fan all way back. She's a big fan.
I think there's something wrong with your microphone, Ken. You sound like a robot.
Yes, but
Oh,
go ahead.
no.
Oh,
I think your battery's going.
time to change your gear.
Yeah, so just click on that little green man. I'll take this while Ken is getting his Newsroom 5 microphone back up. It seems like if you wanted a 3D image, how would I do this with print to cut? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Are you saying printing out like a 3D image to use with 3D glasses? If that's what you're saying, I believe that you would just print it out just like you would print it out on the printer with a actual 3D image, meaning that you would be putting together like a 3D object. That would be done exactly the same as you would do with the regular Explorer design space software.
All right. Trezik, I know you're bringing up the SVG Library program. I do want to talk about it, but we'll talk about that a little later towards the end. I
had some questions today about that too for you, Rob, on my
Okay.
Facebook page. Yeah, a couple of people were asking and saying I hope that he goes over that.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, we'll cover that stuff after we'll get done with our main topic with the Cricut fanboys. Okay, but I promise we'll come back to it. All right. Yeah. Okay. Going through some more questions. You guys see anything?
Susan Uncle said, "I am the only robot that could be in this hangout." Laugh out loud.
Yeah, Susan loves robots. For anyone that doesn't know that. I haven't checked out this link. Someone posted a link. I do hear that, Ken.
Oh, well, I kept saying, can you guys hear me? No one's talking to me.
Well, we
Because
could.
you were muted.
Yeah, now we hear you.
Yeah, now we hear you.
Through Morse code.
Yeah. There's no more crackling. So
Well, I just want to add one thing on the 3D images. Keep in mind that your print and cutting. See what you've done to me, Christopher. You said print and cut, and now it's ingrained in my memory. The print and cut is only on 8.5 by 11 sheet. So 3D images are usually have to take up a 12 by 12 mat because they're, by the time you fold them down and stuff like that, you know, they take up that whole mat. So 3D images could be hard because, I mean, the max that I could get something to print would be 6.5 inches. So by the time you fold down that 3D image, if you're creating a box or something like that, it would be a pretty small box.
All right. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. Well, first of all, this question here is there any way that you can cut a large whiteboard around this sentiment? And I got the link pulled up here so we can share it. So there's the image that she's talking about. Is there a way to cut a large whiteboard around the sentiment so that it looks like you stamped it and then used a die cut to frame it? Hopefully this link will show you what I'm talking about. Does this help you guys at all? You guys are the masters.
Ken, I mean, I'm thinking in my mind of how I would do it, but I don't know if, you know, I mean, I would bring that image in and obviously clean it up, and then put that speech bubble around, you know, pull in the speech bubble and then flatten everything, and then it would just print that sentiment on top of the speech bubble and then cut around it. So if that's the question that I asked you, I mean, from what you're showing in this photograph, that absolutely can be done with no problem. I'm not sure if you're asking if you can do that with other sentiments or with, you know, digital stamps or digital sentiments. Right now, we do not have an offset feature within Design Space, so I'm not sure if you're asking about a border in that respect. But yeah, it's. I mean, you can put a sentiment inside of any shape in the new Design Space, print, then cut, and you can cut around it.
Yeah, and I would almost just, if that was a stamp, I would just almost scan in the stamped top sheet into my scanner, and then use that as your print and cut. So you can actually scan in the stamps and then change the color that way too as the print and cut, and put it in any shape you want as your white offset on white paper. That's what I
Ken
would
has
do.
a great video demonstrating that on his YouTube channel.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my
I think someone has YouTube envy.
gosh.
All right, let me stop screen sharing here and see if this question pops up. Will there be a very detailed written instruction on the Cricut or on the Explorer with print and cut?
I'm not sure. I don't know if Cricut themselves is putting something out. I will say, from the beta testers that tested it, Norel and or Paulette did a really good job on doing written instructions and photo instructions on their blog. I took the route of doing a lot of YouTube videos and showing people YouTube, but both of their blogs, they actually did a really good job of screenshots and then typing up what's going on in another screenshot. So if you are more of a learner where you want to read about it and look at screenshots, I would highly recommend going to their blog, and I'll post both their links because they did a really good job on doing more of a written out detail versus where I kind of did it in front of the camera and just explaining it. So I'll post their blog so you can check out both their blogs and the detail written part.
Okay. All right. Scrolling through some questions, and I'm not seeing any more.
Norel also posted something. It sounds like she did try to cut.
I was looking at that too, but I can't.
Yeah. So basically, it does sound like, and I screen shared here, that she did try cutting an A5, approximately half your letter size paper, but the printer printed the registration marks too small, and the Explorer couldn't find them. She didn't get a chance to try it again, and it didn't work, but she's going to play around with it later. So it sounds like she was able to at least get her printer to print it and was able to manipulate the system to where it would work, but the Explorer couldn't read the registration marks to cut it. So it does sound like at least it might be an option. We just have to figure out if it will work in the future.
Annette, I guess she's the one that was asking that question about that card that we saw at the stamp. She says, but can you customize the shape around the sentiment?
I mean, you can change the shape. Obviously, it would need to be a shape that's either in the library or a shape that you have brought in and imported. But
SVG.
there is not an option right now to do like a free transform, and grab points and change things around. That's not an option at this time.
Yeah. What else you got, Ken? You're still posting up a card up there.
I saw something, but now I can't find it.
Let's see.
It was about the bringing in the intricate, but now I can't find it.
Yeah, man, lots of comments today, guys. I appreciate all the questions. Let's see. Maybe coming in now.
Yeah, and on the stamp thing, I think the big thing is I mean, you can change the color, and just like on text now, you can change the color of text now in the print then cut. I mean, I would just, if I scan in my stamps, I would just put it on any kind of oval, just white cardstock, and cut around it, I guess. And I think Paulette's has the same idea too, is just putting it on a circle, oval, white. I mean, that's what I would do, but in my video, you can scan in anything. I mean, pretty much if you can get a JPEG or a PNG file of it into Design Space, you're going to be able to print and cut it.
All right. Here you go, Ken. Did you see this one? I don't know if you saw this one. She said, thanks all. I got to go. So sad. 4:30 alarm. Hope to make it next week. Would love to hear Ken's thoughts on his favorite cutting machine, the Brother their lack of negative offset. That's Ken's favorite machine, guys.
What a great cutting device.
Yeah, well, if you've noticed, I haven't posted any videos lately on that, so we'll just skip it.
We dedicated one hangout to strictly Brother scan and cut, and instead of having 3 viewers, we had 2.
It's true.
So one dropped off.
Yeah, I have 5.
But obviously they're back this week, so I appreciate you.
There you go.
Appreciate you coming back. Scrolling through any of this stuff, is there anything else that you guys wanted to cover with the Cricut Explore and what's coming out next?
I think we got it all. I mean, if it would be, we'd have a lot more to share if we could show everyone it, but unfortunately, we're not getting it back until you guys have it. So we'll be able to teach you a lot because we've had it for a while, but we don't have it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's much easier than a lot of people are psyching themselves out. And the thing I can't stress enough for those who have had the Cameo, there's no tracing. And that was a huge thing in my opinion, is you don't have to trace your items and mess with thresholds and mess with all of that stuff. In my opinion, that was huge for me, that the system literally has made it so easy. You just import it and it does everything else for you. So that was a big plus in my eyes.
Kay, clever someday, she says, back to Net's question, can you set text to print but not cut inside the shape of your choice?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be the exact same thing that we had. It's the same premise as the drawing and the cutting that we have currently with Design Space. You can actually select on the side if you want something to score, if you want something to draw, or you want something to cut. Now there's just an extra option. There is score, draw, cut, or print. So you are able to do any of those things with any of the images.
Mm-hmm.
Annette says a shadow feature would be helpful. You guys are awesome.
We've asked for it.
Speaking to the choir.
We have been begging for it, so hopefully we get it in the future, Annette. Ken and I have been begging for it since we first saw Print to Cut. Print, then cut. Ah!
Why do they have to change that verbiage, right? Crystal, she says, the last viewer should get a prize. And yeah, that sounds good.
The last viewer standing.
We'll see what Ken has for you.
Yeah, Ken, what do you have up in that Cricut bag?
It is a date with Christopher Allen.
All right, you have to come to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pat says she can't wait till next week. I'm pretty sure it's because of the hangouts. So yeah.
it's because of you, Rob. There was a PS.
Yeah, PS.
See Rob.
Yes. Yeah, and Carolyn says, "Yay, bye, another machine."
Yeah, again, bye, other machine. Yeah. Oh, because her and I had a conversation about this as well, about is she going to keep around her Cameo after the print then cut? Are there some things that she would want to keep? And I said, just for the sheer fact that the print then cut is able to do it without the white border around it is enough that you would not need, that at least the print then cut feature on the Cameo.
Jana, she says, will you post that link to that pattern in the skull?
Oh yes, Jana. I'll post the picture of it for you that you can use. It's actually I'm going to be posting it on my Facebook page and group and on the blog. Right now, I'm working on the resolution on it. I actually had to do quite a few things on my end for the resolution to come through correctly in Design Space. So once I have that all changed and figured out in Illustrator, I'll go ahead and I'll send that over or post it for you guys.
Carrie, she says, Ken and Chris, y'all made some awesome videos. Paulette and is it Narelle? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
You guys did some great photo blogs. Thanks to you all.
Oh my goodness, Ken! Look at her giant Cricut.
Yeah, it's like she won that at the state Cricut fair.
I have Cricut bug envy now.
I do too. Where did you get, Carrie? Tell us where you got that giant Cricut from. We just have little ones.
This is ridiculous.
I am calling headquarters tomorrow.
What is going on here? This is a travesty.
I didn't know we had that option. She knocked down all of the milk barrels at the carnival. We only knocked down 2.
Gee.
She says that, Ken, are you for hire to come teach me with my Explorer? Pretty please.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's very expensive.
How would you know?
She did a follow-up, and she said, my husband's already booking the plane ticket. So there you go.
There you go.
Free trip. Jerry said she looks forward to all weeks. Puts a big smile on her face. So,
thank you, Jerry.
Yep. Let's see. Scrolling through some more of these.
Ken's so funny.
Carrie said that she'll take the date with Chris.
Oh, Carrie! Woo! I'm in.
Just make sure you bring that Cricut bug with you.
Bring that giant Cricut bug. It'll never be seen again.
I hope Carrie will be seen again.
True.
Kay says on a serious note here, on the Explorer, it's not called tracing, but when you import an image, and so the cleanup, etc. That is the same thing. Simpler but less flexible is the trade-off.
That's absolutely correct.
Very true. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, Net says she's never went over the dark side.
The dark side.
I'm assuming she's talking about the Cameo and not Ken.
Okay, first of all, thank you that you've noticed I've been tanning. That's very nice of you.
It's that HD makeup.
Yeah, for you guys that don't know, Ken's going on vacation next week. He will not be with us.
He is.
He will not be with us, but we have someone to replace him for that 1 week. But she's coming in. She's been on here before, Julie, and she'll be actually putting the Cricut Explorer to the test.
Ooh.
And we're gonna.
Christopher, you better defend its honor.
I will while you're gone. I don't know if I can do it on my own. I usually have your help, but
the fanboy will see if he can rebuttal, because she does put through the test. She
I'm wearing a glitter Cricut shirt next week, just in case.
Paulette says she can't believe we're jealous of her Cricut size. I'm very jealous of her Cricut
Lee,
size.
I've never been so jealous of a Cricut size in my life. I will admit it. I'm actually thinking about right now how I can construct. I'm getting paper mache ideas. I'm gonna make one of those. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it.
So Jox44 says she has an extra one that she can send you, Ken. So.
All right,
Ken,
I will be sending you my address right now.
Carrie says, "Come get me, Chris. I'm ready."
Sold.
I didn't know we're doing auctions here.
That's good. I love it.
All right. Right. Not seeing any more questions. I did want to touch up a little up on the SVG library, and we can answer some of Christopher's questions that he has about it. So.
My question. Oh.
Yeah, didn't you say you had some questions? I don't know if you.
I had a couple. They weren't necessarily questions that people were asking. They were just saying that they were hoping that you would review it. That you would review kind of, what it is, what the pricing is. Another question I believe that I got was, how the download works and things like that. Just like the basic questions that you've gone over in Hangouts before. But I think some things that, obviously the vault has been now posted in quite a few groups, and they unfortunately haven't had the ability to watch everything as you explain it so diligently in these Hangouts.
All right. Well.
And that was serious. That was a serious moment. I know everybody's probably thinking I'm kidding. Diligently, I know is not said a lot.
Oh my goodness! You're like trying to get in good with the principal.
I am. I know. I hear you. It's one of those.
Your wonderful instructions. They have not been privileged to see, Rob.
Correct. I've never seen a laser pointer used so eloquently.
All right. Let me go ahead and screen share here, and let me put my screen up here. Okay. Now, the SVG library, for you guys that don't know what it is, basically you can import your SVGs into here, and you'll be able to view them and export them. You can add tags to them so that they can easily be found. Okay, so right here, I'm going to go over some of the new things that I've added, and this update should be coming out this weekend. Okay, so one of the first things that people were asking for is name change and making name change. Okay, so I'm making it easy, making it simple. So let me go ahead and see if I can pull up a file here, and let me go under downloads. I think I have some. All right, so basically, in order to import, you just simply drop and drag a folder that has SVGs in it, okay? And it will search folder, subfolder, until it finds all the SVGs.
Well, I think Rob might have got kicked off.
Yeah, I think we may have lost.
Christopher, what did you do?
Midway.
Your question overruled him.
I didn't know. I think that's actually he posted that.
So,
let's take a look at some more questions.
I don't think we have access to...
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
It's I have one here that says, Pat said, don't forget to tell us who is who in the baby pics. I think that we're going to give Rob the honors of doing that. Let's see. Oh, Sharon said, LMAO, you guys expect serious from people obsessed with little green bugs. That's perfect. Let's see what else we have here. Oh. Maybe we should change the name of these meetings to Cricut Match. Yeah, I think that's really it.
Yeah, I think that's it too. Oh, but looks like Rob is back.
Yes, man, 3 times. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where we stopped off at.
You basically were importing in something into your file.
Okay.
Yeah.
Importing. Gosh, man, my internet is so bad today, and I don't know why. Let me cut this off. Let me go to Rob. Let me try to screen share here. You guys can still hear me okay?
Yep, can hear you just fine.
All right. Yeah, that humming went away. All right, let me share my entire screen. Now you guys able to see my screen?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, SVG Library. You saw me where I tried to drop and drag a folder? Yes?
Yep, that's exactly where you left off.
Okay. So, like I said, you can see that this folder here has tons of other stuff in it. Make the cut. It has SVGs, yada, yada, yada. So it actually searches that entire folder, pulls out all the SVGs. What's new in this one is I can rename things. So all I have to do is double click right here, because a lot of people are saying, hey, I really want to update before I put things into the library. I want to update their names. So I made it real simple. You know, you can just type whatever you want here that will give you an indication that that file is yours. Okay, so I'm just going to hit the enter button there, yold, and we're going to go ahead and move it over to the import list and add it to the library. Now once we do that, it is now in our library. It is named yold, and I'm just going to do a quick refresh and show everything, and down everything should be alphabetically listed, and down there is the yold. Okay. Now, what I was talking with nobody, and what I was saying that typically you'll have a white background here, and people were saying, hey, I have some SVGs in here, and I cannot see them. Like this, for example. This comes from Lettering Delights, and you know it's because of the background that you see here. So I changed. I updated this so that you can choose whatever background color suits you. That way you can see the files a little better. So that's the second part that's new. Third is just minor bug fixes. People were saying that they couldn't add apostrophes in there. People wanted to type in like maybe it came from ScrappyDew or it's ScrappyDews, and there's apostrophe, and it was not taking. So I updated that. Also updated where you can actually use your arrow keys to move up and down here, and it will display what you need, because some people were saying, hey, well, I'm using my arrow keys and they're not working. Michelle can maybe jump in. I told her everything that I updated. I can't remember if it's what else I did, but I did do a lot of improvements, I thought, because the background color was a big one. But yeah, going with the Terezik's question is what is, or I guess the pricing point is, if you own SVG Viewer before, it is, I sent out an email to everybody where that if you purchase before, it was $10. It's a totally different program than SVG Viewer. SVG Viewer, you can drop and drag a folder in, and you can get a bigger preview of that. So yeah, so SVG Library, a little more in depth. Oh, I do remember what I did add. Let me go ahead and screen share, and I'm creating an exporter and an importer. So let me go ahead and share this again. So with the exporter feature, you just go to File. I thought I put it under File. Yeah, Create Backup. That's what it is. I guess you guys can't see it on the screen, but anyways, it will create an exact copy of the of your database so that you can mirror it on other computers. So adding that feature, hopefully it will be a well-liked one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing. I'm going to check out, see if there's any comments. And since my internet reset, all my comments have reset as well. So if there's any questions on this, feel free to post them. And I don't know if Michelle or Ken or anyone else is tracking any. Let me go ahead and add all.
So they want to know, Trezik wants to know, can we put files into particular folders for easy finding?
All right. So I guess I need to think about how one would do that, and I'm thinking the best way that to accomplish this would be to either pre-tag these as they're going in, because maybe it'll be easier. But you can almost think of a tag as a folder. So if you wanted to have a folder called flowers. Just tag everything that's flowers, and that is your folder. Hopefully that makes sense. And then you can go in the search and type in flower, and every single thing that is in the flower folder will populate.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yep. Samantha D wants to know, can you add search words to each file?
Yes. Let me pull that up. So when you share entire screen here. All right. So hopefully you guys can see this. All right. So for example, this is a heart, and I would like to add this as a search term for heart, and it's called tagging. That's what I would do. So anyways, you hit add tags. This will pop up here, and you can add the word heart. And then you can hit add tag. And this brings up another thing that I have added in here is you can now tag using commas. So every time there's a comma, that will consider that one tag. Okay, so let me find something that may work. You know, like I don't know. Oops, let me move too fast. See, just little bugs here and there. Let me go ahead and stop this. But tagging multiple strings, and I'll show you that once we tag that with a heart, we can do a quick search for a heart. And my computer's a little slow. It's running a lot of things right now in the background. So if I typed in the word heart and then hit search, the heart came up. So that's, let me go back to the black. So the heart came up. So that's how you can tag things. You know, that's how you can put things in so-called folders. Let me go ahead and refresh here, and let me pull up. You know, you can, you know, what you can do with tags is you can pick one that has multiple items in there, and you can add multiple tags to it. So I just wanted to pull up one. Here we'll add tags, and I'll show you how the comma thing works. You can do heart, comma, frame, and then hit add tags, and it will actually separate those two and consider them two different tags, and then you just hit done. You know, that's how you tag. Of course, you can tag multiple. You just have to enable this, and you can select multiple files to tag those as well. You know, by holding the either control button down or the command button down on a Mac, and you hit the add tags button, and now you can add multiple tags same way, either to commas or one by one. So hopefully that cleared up with that question. Yeah. You see any more, Ken?
Yeah, Leslie wants to know, Rob, in SVG Library, is there a way to allow it to import an SVG that is just on the desktop and not in a file?
I can include that. Right now that drop area only accepts folders. So until I get an update out there, the only way to do that would be to put it in a folder. You know, and I guess that kind of stinks that you'd have to do that. But I guess that's almost a carryover from the SVG library. I mean, from the SVG viewer. But I'll put that on the list to allow single files to be put in there. But
okay,
I don't know about multiple. I'll have to see how that works. Like I said, I'm just a beginner programmer out here, but I'll look into it. What's up?
All right. And then there's a lot of questions about where do we get this, Rob? Do we have a web address? Can you send the link? Is it available? We keep getting that over and over again.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't want to steal any money away from any affiliates out there. So I know Ken's here. He's an affiliate. Michelle's an affiliate. So we have Ken Kreations, his website, creativeken.blogspot.com. We have MichelleMybellCreations.com. So check those two out if you want to help them out. Otherwise, it's -12.com. And you know, I can show you where exactly that is at on there. But like I said, we're all a team here, and so we always try to help each other out.
And then while you're going to that, another question is, only works with SVG files, or does it also handle Make the Cut and Studio files, aka can I mix all the files, my files, into one library?
Right now it's just SVGs. It'll only work with SVGs. Now, Julie, like I said, she's going to be joining us next week, and she's like an SVG hoarder. I mean, she has tons of SVGs, and she tried this. She tried it out. She let it run overnight, and it was able to pick up all her SVGs. And then her actual library file that it saves, it was over 3 gigs. So I mean, keep in mind, yeah, just keep in mind all the stuff that you put in there. It's going to be a pretty big file, you know, once you accumulate all of it. But it should be nice once it is in there. And then another thing I suggest is always make, you know, that's why I created that export library, so that you guys can always keep, you know, I'd say do it, you know, if you go in there once a day, you know, do it once a day, do a quick export. That way you always know you have a good working database, just in case a database does get corrupt, okay? But right here on the dash12.com website, you'll see this. You'll see the SVG library. You click the View Product page, and right now it's set for $25, but we have a coupon code. You know, I forget, Michelle, when we canceled the coupon code, but it will give you 33% off, which takes this puppy down to, I believe, $16.75. Okay, so you'll do that. Now, I have been getting a lot of support questions on, hey, how do I register this thing? Okay, so once you guys do buy it, you'll get a link that will send you to svglibrary.com/download. So you'll go here, and I have it set up step by step, and I'm hoping that, you know, this does cut down on a lot of support. So okay, step 1, download and open up the program. Okay, step 2, you're going to get an access key, and you're going to need to go here. So click that purple button, and go to that website, because that's where you type in your name. That's where you type in your email address, and you'll type in your access code. You'll hit submit. You will get a little download file, a little text file. Do not open it up because you can't read it, but it is necessary and for the program. And hopefully you guys will see this little box here. You can drop and drag that text file into there, or there's a little button on there that you'll see. I don't know if I can make this big. So there'll be a little button right here that says import registration text file, and you can use that as well. Okay, but I made this little help video out there, so this will walk you through the steps. I'm sorry for the painfulness, but it's how I have to have you guys registered, and that way I can put out an email to all you guys. Hey, update your stuff. Got new cool features that are coming your way. Okay, so that is basically how you download, register, and get access to it. I mean, it is a pretty cool program. You know, I like it. I use it, and I hope that you guys do too. Do you guys see any?
Yeah, so it says, do you have to import to the right side once you have them on the left side?
Okay, so yeah, let me go over that real quick. So, in my videos, I always say pretend that these are buckets. Okay, so this right here is your possible. This is like your bucket that you're picking from. And then this is the bucket that you're putting in your library. Okay, so whatever's in this bucket over here does not go in the library until you move it over there and you say add to my library. Something that I did want to bring up is let me go ahead and import that same stuff now. See, I'm just dragging this over here into this bucket. This bucket over here is not in my library, and I need to put it in the bucket that actually dumps into my library. So you can either click and use these buttons right here, or if you want everything, you can hit Move All. Now, if you guys have been watching, I renamed a file in here, and we can hit this button right here that says check for duplicates. and I'm going to hit that, and it's found the duplicates. Okay, so it's saying, do you want to remove those from the queue, from this queue? And you do, and they're moved off. So it does check for duplicates, but it only checks for duplicates that are actually in your library. It doesn't check for duplicates that are actually in your import list queue. And that's probably something that I could do. You know, I'd probably add that to the list as well. But it's a good double checker. It's not checking for names. It's actually reading the SVG code that is in your actual SVG file. So that's how it's determining whether or not you have a duplicate. And Ken's posting the coupon code that you guys can use with if you guys decide to purchase this. So, yep. Any other questions? Can you send out the code again? I guess that's the code to get the discount. You can do a search for no tag for those SVGs that sneak in the library without a tag. That's a good suggestion. I will add that to the list. I actually like that one. Let me post that one. So I'll take a note of this one. Would you do a search for a no tag to see which ones do not have tags, which are empty? Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. Rob, I noticed a compass. A compass. I don't know where a compass is. Are you a Mason? Nope. I'm in the Army. I'm an Army pilot. Thanks, cousin MTC. I want a Mac. Save it to the desktop. Yeah, Leslie. I'll see if we can to that SVG file load only. See if we can get that going. Any more questions you see, Ken? No. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Cool. Well, we went down from 3 viewers to 2, so I think that means it's getting late. Getting late. Let me screen share or stop screen sharing anyway. So yeah, so I appreciate I do appreciate everyone coming out. Michelle, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
No.
Okay, but appreciate everyone coming out. Check us. Come back again next week. We should have another great show. Like I said, we're going to be discussing in depth with. It's going to be Fanboy versus Julie next week. Okay, so check that out. Anything you want to say in closing, Christopher? Is it going to be an ugly fight next week? No.
I don't think so. No.
I think
we'll be fine. I think that when she's doing the review of it, I think that the Cricut Explore will be able to hold its own.
Yeah, I mean, I think when she was on last time, she did say she liked the Explorer. It was a good machine, good upgrade. So we'll see what she thinks. She'll put it to the test. But I do thank everyone for coming out, checking us out. Ken, you got the last word. You can finish with whatever saying you want this week.
I will use Christopher's favorite, which is go out there and make something magical.
All right. Stay crafty, guys. All right. Bye.
Bye.